Hello, welcome to the Good Way podcast. I am your host, Holly, and I'm so glad that you're joining me. Today, we're going to explore some stories, music, poetry, things that are good, true, and beautiful. Hello, friends, and welcome. Let's start our time together with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. I wonder if that's feeling a little bit easier. Maybe when we first started it felt awfully long and hard to remember, but now that you've done it a while, it kind of just is stuck in your mind and it's just part of you. Well, I hope that's how you feel about Psalm 100 as well. I know it's a little bit long, and sometimes one of the ways that I like to work on memorization is just to start with a little chunk. You don't have to learn the whole thing right away. You can take your time with it. Well, at my house, we started with just the first 2 lines. We even drew a picture and then we just said them over and over again until they got stuck into our heads. Would you do that with me? We're just going to do the first 2 lines 3 times, and then I'm going to continue reading so you can hear the rest of it. Psalm 100. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord, he is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name. For the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. Maybe this week you can add a couple more lines. I hope that you're learning how to contemplate or meditate on this psalm. We've talked about this a little bit before, but to contemplate or to meditate means to think about something. And a great way to meditate or think on something is to memorize it. So when you say the words, think about what it means. I love this first part of the passage where it says, make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. What are some ways that you think the earth makes a joyful noise to the Lord? Do you have any ideas? Maybe this week you can take a nature walk and listen for the sounds, the joyful noises that the earth makes to the Lord. Maybe it's an animal. Maybe it's waves crashing at the beach. Maybe it's the wind rustling through the leaves in the trees. There are lots of ways that the earth makes a joyful noise.
Greetings, Good Way listeners. It's me, Jeff, and since we're taking the time to learn This Is My Father's World, today I wanted to look at verse 1. We're going to look at this verse, but it might be helpful for you to look at the words as we do. You might be able to print something out or look on your screen to be able to see what exactly we're talking about today. Let me go ahead and read verse 1, and so we can begin to put this into our memories. This is my Father's world, and to my listening ears all nature sings, and round me rings the music of the spheres. This is my Father's world. I rest me in the thought of rocks and trees, of skies and seas, his hand the wonders wrought. Oh, guys, there's so much to talk about and think about in this song. I hope you have some time to read it over on your own, but I just want to bring 2 things to your attention. The first one is a literary tool that often authors, artists, musicians use, and it's called repetition. Repetition means repeat. You're going to notice the very first line of the song, This is my Father's world, which is also the title, happens again in the middle of the verse. This is because the author is telling you, hey, this is an important thing that I want you to remember about my song. It's a great thing for us too, because it means that verse 1 has line 1 and line 5 the exact same words. That helps us memorize it and remember the theme of the song. Okay? Now, another thing that I want to share with you is a personal story from me. This summer, I got to go camping with my family. How many of you like to go camping? Yeah, probably a few of you. This place I went had cliffs at the ocean. On top of the cliffs, there were these trees hanging out over the edge. In the sea, there was these giant rocks that the waves were crashing on. Far out into the distance, I could see the ocean going out to the horizon, all the way to where the water and the sky meets. I mean, I'm telling you, this was a beautiful place. I had never seen a place like this before, and I soaked it in. I was so thankful, and it made me think of this last part of the song. I'm going to read it again. This is my Father's world. I rest me in the thought. That means I am resting because I know the rocks, the trees, the skies and seas, his hand, the wonders wrought. That means he has made everything. And when I stood on that cliff and saw those rocks and trees and skies and seas, I knew that this was my Father's world. It's a beautiful, beautiful, real life moment for me. Now that I've got to share that, let's go ahead and sing this together. This is my Father's world. This is my Father's world, and to my listening ears, all nature sings, and round me rings the music of the spheres. This is my Father's world, I rest me in the thought of rocks and trees, of skies and seas, his hand the wonders wrought. This is my Father's world, their birds their carols raise, the morning light, the lily white, declare their Maker's praise. This is my Father's world, he shines in all that's fair. In the rustling grass I hear him pass, he speaks to me everywhere. This is my Father's world, oh let me ne'er forget that though the wrong seems off so strong, God is the ruler yet. This is my Father's world, the battle is not done. Jesus who died shall be satisfied, and earth and heaven be one. This is my Father's world, the battle is not done. Jesus who died shall be satisfied, and earth and heaven be one.
My brother's wife's name is Cassie. She's an amazing dancer, and she also loves sign language. Are you familiar with sign language? It's when people who can't speak with their mouths use their bodies and their hands to communicate. Well, I was talking about this song with Cassie, and she was noticing how in this song there is so much language about speaking. And yet, if you think about it, God's world, they don't all have mouths to speak. Trees don't have mouths, they don't have tongues. The bubbling waters in a stream, they don't speak in the way that, you and I speak. And yet, all of creation still sings to God in their own way. Well, Cassie put together a beautiful video where you can go learn American Sign Language to the song This Is My Father's World. I hope you check it out. You can find it on Instagram. You can also find it on goodwaylearningcollective.com. It's time for our myth of the week. I have a great one to share with you today, but before we get to it, I want to remind you what a myth is. It's a story that tells why things are the way that they are. This particular Greek myth seeks to explain the natural world. It talks a little bit about seasons, so listen up and enjoy. This is the story of Persephone. But just like last time, I need to go back in time a little bit to give you some context for the story. Well, long ago, the gods divided the universe up between themselves. Zeus became the god of the heavens and of the earth. His brother Poseidon became the god of the sea. And his older brother, Hades, became the god of the underworld. Now, the underworld was a dreary place. It was always dark and depressing. It is where the mortals went when they died. And even Hades, the god of the underworld, sometimes wished to escape the very place that he ruled. When he felt this way, he would call for his chariot and hitch his 4 black horses to it. Then he would ride through a secret cave under Mount Etna that opened up into a quiet valley above the ground. This was a special place to Hades, and he thought it was a secret to everyone but himself. But he was wrong. Aphrodite, the goddess of love, and her son Eros came here too, and one day they spied down upon Hades as he was lying in the grass, picking flowers in the sunshine. Eros turned to his mother and asked her why she hadn't demanded a kingdom for herself when the gods had split up the universe. She tossed her head and laughed. "What do you mean, my son? Everything is mine, is it not? Why settle for just the heavens, or just the ocean, or just the underworld, when I could have them all? My young son," she continued, "those gods may rule the universe, but I rule the gods." Eros replied, "How is that, mother?" "What god or mortal can fight against the power of love? When they fall in love, I become their master. And as you can see, those gods have nothing on me," she exclaimed. "That may be true for most, but what about Hades down there? I can't imagine he would ever fall in love. He's so grumpy and unlovable." "Oh, my dear son, I will prove you wrong. Here, hand me your bow and one of your arrows." Eros, who was called Cupid by the Romans, was the god of love and passion. Anytime he struck someone with one of his arrows, they would fall hopelessly in love. And so it was that Aphrodite pulled back the string on the bow and let the arrow fly, straight into the heart of Hades. Suddenly, Hades felt a shiver start in his heart and tingle all the way through his body. Something funny was happening to him, and he felt a bit confused, but also quite happy. He leapt into his chariot and took off across the valley, singing at the top of his lungs. Well, at the other end of that valley, a young woman was picking flowers. Her name was Persephone. She was the daughter of Demeter, the goddess of all growing things and the harvest. Well, like her mother, Persephone loved the plants and flowers that grew in the valley. In fact, it was rumored that wherever she stepped, little flowers would grow up out of the ground. Her mother loved her so dearly, she rarely let her out of her sight. Whenever the goddess left Mount Olympus to visit the earth, she would take Persephone with her. And on this particular day, Persephone had wandered a bit from her mother in search of flowers. She stopped gathering and looked up when she heard the hooves of horses pounding toward her. Then she saw the driver of the chariot. The face of Hades was absolutely frightening, and he had fallen hopelessly in love with the girl who stood before him. She grabbed her basket and began to run, but it was no use. He quickly gained on her, reaching down and grabbing her as his chariot raced by. Persephone screamed for help, but no one heard her. And even if they had been able to hear her, it's hard to imagine what they could possibly do to stop the crazy, love-stricken god of the underworld. Suddenly, the ground split open. Hades drove his horse into the crevice and it closed up behind them. The only evidence of the young girl was an empty basket and a few bouquets of wildflowers scattered upon the ground. When Persephone failed to return to her mother, Demeter set out in search of her. She looked over the whole world for many days, but it was no use. Even with the help of the sun and the moon and the stars, no one could find Persephone. She had simply vanished. But this did not stop Demeter, for she loved her daughter very much and refused to give up on the search. Because she was so preoccupied trying to find her daughter, she wasn't caring for the earth. Trees began to lose their leaves, the fields grew cold, and nothing would grow from the ground. Finally, she saw a long ribbon tangled in a bush. It had belonged to Persephone. She cried out when she saw her daughter's basket and flowers strewn about the ground. Then she saw the tracks of chariot wheels leading to a crack in the ground. Demeter yelled out in anger, "Hades has stolen Persephone! I will go to Zeus. He can make Hades return her." And she immediately set off for Mount Olympus. She explained everything that she had discovered, but Zeus could only shake his head sadly. "There's nothing I can do," he explained, "for I cannot force Hades to do anything. I am not in charge of him." Demeter threatened him. "If you do not find a way to get my daughter back, your world will pay. I will stop the rain. I will curse the soil. The crops and the plants will shrivel up and die. Your world will be ruined if I don't have Persephone." Zeus promised that he would find a way to help. He turned to Hermes. "Take Demeter to the underworld," he told him. "Try to convince my brother to return the girl." Well, Hermes took Demeter down into the underworld. They crossed the river Styx and walked through endless caves and mazes until they met Hades. He sat upon his throne, with Persephone by his side. She wore a golden crown and had a pleasant look on her face. Demeter could hardly believe what she was seeing. She raged at Hades. "Give me back my daughter, you tyrant!" But Hades smiled and welcomed Demeter. "Oh, I do hope you'll stay with us for a while, dearest mother." "What? How dare you? Of course I don't intend to stay," Demeter retorted. "Give me my daughter." "Oh, mother," said Persephone, "I don't want to leave. This is my home now. I have forgiven Hades for stealing me away, but it wasn't really his fault, you see. Aphrodite, she struck him with an arrow. He couldn't help falling in love with me. And I believe she may have had another arrow from me as well, for I have fallen in love too. Hades is good to me, mother. There is so much to do down here in this world. I'm not afraid of the dead. In fact, I can give them comfort. I am important down here, and I want to stay." "Out of the question," Demeter commanded. "Take off that crown and come with me right this instant." Hades stood up from his throne. "She may be your daughter, but she is now my wife, and if she does not wish to go, you will not make her go. She belongs here with me now." Seeing that no progress was being made, Hermes stepped in. He said to Hades, "You stole the girl without her mother's permission, and according to the laws above, that means that your marriage is not valid." Then he turned to Demeter. "According to the laws below, no soul may leave this place if it has eaten anything whatsoever, even anything as small as a pomegranate seed." Then he turned to Persephone. "Well, have you eaten anything, girl?" "Well, I was a bit hungry, so I ate 6 pomegranate seeds," she said. "You see, then she must remain here with me," Hades smiled. "If you do, I will destroy the world," Demeter retorted. Persephone was beside herself. She did not want to leave her husband, and yet she couldn't bear the thought of her mother destroying the world above. So she begged Hermes for help. Now, as you recall, Hermes was quite clever. He thought for a moment, and then he came up with a solution. "Because you ate 6 pomegranate seeds, you must remain in the underworld for 6 months of every year. For the remaining 6 months, you must return to the world above with your mother." Persephone was grateful for his help, and Hades and Demeter agreed to the proposal. And so it is that Persephone leaves the underworld for 6 months to be reunited with her mother every year. When she does, Demeter is so overjoyed she blesses the earth. The sun shines its warmth down on long days. The plants sprout, the flowers bloom, and fruit ripens on the trees. The crops grow and everything is green and verdant. But when spring and summer come to an end, Persephone returns to Hades in the underworld. The leaves fall from the trees and the world turns cold. Ice and snow cover the earth, and nothing grows upon the ground. But people know that it is not forever. They simply wait through the fall and winter for Persephone to return in the spring. I hope you enjoyed that story. That was one explanation of why we have seasons. The poem I have for you today is by Charles Dickens, and it's called Merry Autumn Days. 'Tis pleasant on a fine spring morn to see the buds expand. 'Tis pleasant in the summertime to see the fruitful lands. 'Tis pleasant on a winter's night to sit around the blaze. But what are joys like these, my boys, to merry autumn days? We hail the merry autumn days when leaves are turning red, because they're far more beautiful than anyone has said. We hail the merry harvest time, the gayest of the year, the time of rich and bounteous crops, rejoicing and good cheer. In our myth, we learned that Demeter blessed the spring and summer, but we see fall and winter more of a curse from her. This poet, however, would disagree. He thinks that fall or autumn is the best season. He says he likes the spring because there are buds. He likes the summer because there's fruit in the land. And he likes winter when you can sit around a warm fire, but he says none of those compare to merry autumn days. Well, I wonder how you would describe autumn. What are your favorite things to do? Do you have any favorite things to eat? What are your favorite things to look at in nature? Those are some fun things to think about as you think about this poem. I'm going to read it for you one more time. Merry Autumn Days by Charles Dickens. 'Tis pleasant on a fine spring morn to see the buds expand. 'Tis pleasant in the summertime to see the fruitful land. 'Tis pleasant on a winter's night to sit around the blaze. But what are joys like these, my boys, to merry autumn days? We hail the merry autumn days when leaves are turning red, because they're far more beautiful than anyone has said. We hail the merry harvest time, the gayest of the year, the time of rich and bounteous crops, rejoicing and good cheer. Well, we've come to the end of another episode. Before we go, I want to leave you with a blessing. It comes from Paul's letter to the Ephesians. May you experience the love of Christ, though it is so great you will never fully understand it, and may you be filled with the fullness of life and power that comes from God. Well, until next time, look for the good way and walk in it.